Alright guys, good morning. I told you I was going to get this video done this morning, and here I am, getting this work done. Hopefully you're going to work hard or already have worked hard. The best way to use this video or the answer key that you'll find online is to first do the problems. If you're stuck doing a couple of problems and you don't know what you're doing or don't remember how to do it, then it's in your best interest then to check this video out. Hopefully that's where you're at. Check this video out, fast forward to a couple of the problems, see how I did a couple of the problems, and then maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to figure out how to do the other ones. If not, contact a friend, get together as a study group or something like that to work together. This is not going to be an easy test, but I think you guys can handle it. So, good morning. Here we go. Hopefully I'll try to be entertaining. It's going to take a while. Fast forward all the boring stuff. Fast forward all the easy stuff. Make sure everything I say is understood. Now, here's the thing. One thing. Understand this. If I should happen to make a mistake, which you and I both know never happens, but if I should happen to make a mistake and you catch it and you tell me about it, now you got to be the first. You got to either email me, you got my cell phone number on the website, you can text me, tell me who you are, tell me what mistake and what problem I made the mistake on. If you're correct, a little bonus point on your test, or two, depending how bad the mistake is. If you're not first, I'll send you back a reply saying, nice try. Next time, be a little quicker. All right? So, here we go. Without further ado, let's get started on this test. Hopefully, I don't make too many mistakes. And hopefully, you guys did okay on it. And I want to wish you guys good luck on Monday. Only want you guys to be successful. So, I'll try to look up as much as possible. I'll try not to bore you as much as possible. I'll try to get more exciting. Not going to happen. But let's see how we do. Let's see how many mistakes I can not make today. Let's get some pens out. We'll get a drawing pen out. We'll get this thing on. Let's get this going. It says graph the polynomial. Right here, polynomial. That has a leading coefficient that's negative and that it has even. Now, if you remember even is going to make sure that we both go up or we both go down. It's going to be a graph that is going to leave the piece of graph paper at the same place. So if it's even, you could have simply drawn me an upside down parabola. Why is it going down? It's going down because the leading coefficient is negative. If you wanted to, you could have gotten a little bit crazier and you could have drawn me maybe more like a fourth degree polynomial, and you could have driven me something like, something that's got a couple more exciting roots, something like that. If you don't put arrows down, then it's not really a polynomial. It's just, well, I guess it could be a polynomial, but it's, I'd rather have the arrows on showing me this end behavior. We're going to talk about end behavior in this next column, so you might need to know about that. But anyway, that's what that one should look like. Very simple. B, it's going to have a positive leading coefficient, and it's odd. Now remember, when it's odd, that means it's going to leave this. It's going to leave the piece of graph paper going up, and it's going to leave the piece of graph paper going down. When it's positive, what you want to make sure that you're drawing is something that looks like this. How do I know this one is positive? I think the easiest way for you to remember that this has a positive leading coefficient is if you were thinking about whether or not you could draw a line between these two arrows that would have a positive slope. Do you remember doing this a few weeks ago? Hope so. That's the answer to that question. Let's move on. All right, again, we're going back to even. This time we're positive. So hopefully now you realize, oh yeah, that's my positive means it's going to go, even means it's going to go in the same direction. Positive means it's going to go up for the even functions. And finally, negative, odd. I think now you've got the pattern. We're just going to come down, got a little bend in it. And there's that one. Question 2. So all I wanted to do is, it's basically these same questions, but over here, we're just going to work backwards. In this case, because the arrows are both going up, that means, and it's even, obviously it's going to be even because they're both going in the same direction. So it's going to be even, and since they're both going up, it's going to be positive. That's it. Done. I didn't ask you for what degree it could be. I didn't ask you. I mean, you should know that since I could have 4 possible solutions, then this would have to be an x to the 4th term. At a minimum, that would have to be an x to the 4th term. This, because it's going off in both directions, the degree has to be odd. And if I draw in this, just this temporary line thing here, you see that it's got a negative slope, so your leading coefficient has to be negative. Keep moving. Going off in the same direction, that makes it even. Both going down, that makes it negative. Hopefully you got that correct. Negative. End behavior. Describe end behavior. So I think before you can describe this end behavior, you really kind of got to get a quick little sketch of what this thing looks like. So if I come over here and I look at my coordinate axes, and what we have here is a even polynomial with a leading coefficient that's negative. Well, maybe what I could have just said is, oh, wait a second, that's this graph up here. I don't necessarily need to sketch my own. It's this graph up here. It's got a negative leading coefficient, yes, and it's even. Okay, so what that says then is what we're looking for here is as x approaches positive infinity, as x goes off into this direction, what's y doing? Y is going to negative infinity. And as x goes in this direction, y is also going to negative infinity. So as x approaches positive infinity, y is approaching negative infinity. All right, so now we have a odd positive. So I don't want to waste this axis I drew over here. That would be a waste. So I'm going to draw this one over here. A odd one is going to go off in either direction, and since it's positive, it has to look something like this. Let me get to some green color for you. So notice it's got a positive coefficient here. All right, so again, we're going to think about as x approaches positive infinity. As x goes in this direction, y is going in that direction. So y is approaching positive infinity. Also, as x approaches negative infinity, y is approaching. So as x goes in this direction, what's y doing? Y is going in the negative direction. So y approaches negative infinity. That's it for that one. Let's go to page 2. Oh my gosh, how do I get this thing blown up? There's my mouse. There it is. Okay, just don't know what to hit. Oh, there it goes. Trying to blow it up so you can see it. All right, there we go. Okay, what is the domain and range of the following functions? So the only way you're going to be able to tell the domain and range of these functions is if you understand what the graph looks like. And you can either take your graphing calculator out, which you don't have at home, but you could on the test take your graphing calculator out, graph this, and see what is going on with the domain and what's going on with the range. That's it. So without further ado, I will attempt to graph a cubic function, if you remember correctly. Now, I'm not graphing this thing perfectly accurate. It's going to look something like that. Okay. So, domain. Isn't the domain going forever and ever left and forever and ever right? So the domain would be from negative infinity to positive infinity. And if you're really smart, you're looking at the range, and the range is also going up forever and down forever, so that's also negative infinity to positive infinity. So this one was quite simple. Let's move on. This one's a little bit different. You have to remember, on the test, you have to remember that a square root function looks, the normal square root function looks like that. That's the normal square root function right there. Now, if it had a negative leading coefficient, it's going to be that drawing. So what we have to figure out now is, because that's not what we have going on here, we have a transformation being done on our... That's probably not a good place to draw that. Let me erase that. We have a transformation going on this quadratic, or on this square root function. Now, the transformation in this case is trying to draw a line that's relatively straight. The transformation going on in this case is we're going to move left 4 up 5. Same as almost all this is a translation. Same as all those translations that we've done before. We're going to move to the left 4, so off into this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, and up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so there's my starting point. Again, remember, normally my starting point would be at the origin. It would look just like that. Now, because it has a negative leading coefficient, that means it's coming down. The 3 just means it's coming down really quickly. So instead of the normal one, we're going to have to draw like a very steep one. But it's still going to have this same general shape. So let's talk about domain. Domain. The x values start right here and they go forever in that direction. So the domain is from -4 all the way to positive infinity. The range values are a little bit different. They're going to go from, I'll just use red again. They're going to go from all the way up here all the way down to negative infinity. But again, don't forget, don't do anything dumb with these questions. You have to start with the smallest range value, or y value, in this case is negative infinity, and it will go all the way up to positive 5. All right, so this is a cube root function. If you remember, a cube root function looks something like this. The normal cube root function looks like that. Right? Remember, it's kind of looks like the square root function on one side. Remember when I said in class we looked on one side, but we didn't look on the other? And I said, oh, wait, cube root functions, because they're odd, go in both directions. So we've got to look in both directions. So, you know, the only thing that's going to go on with this one is that's the normal cube root function. And we're going to move this one. We're going to move it left 2 and down 3. So left 2 and down 3. So it's going to look like, and it's going to be a little bit steeper. But is that really going to change the domain and range? It's not. The domain and range will still continue to be all reals. From negative infinity to positive infinity, and the range will be from negative infinity to positive infinity. All reals. And then I go back to a square root function. Bam, bam. We're moving right 2. We're moving up 3. Going off in that direction. So hopefully by now you've got it. The domain is from positive 2 to infinity, and the range, the lowest range value is this 3, and it goes forever and ever up. So the lowest range value is 3, and the positive to positive infinity. Sweet. We're done with those. All right, we're to the F word. You're allowed to use the F word. Look, if it's got 4 terms like this, you're going to group. We're going to be grouping. So let's group. Let's group. All right, we're going to group these two together. We're going to group these two together. I can take out an x squared from these, and I'm left with x plus 4. Copy over that sign. Whatever it is, copy it over. Subtraction. We're going to take out a 25. 25. And I'm left with, what's that you say? You are so smart. I actually took out a negative 25. So if I took out a negative 25 from negative 25x, then that leaves me x. When I take a negative 25 out from negative 4, that leaves me a positive 4. And if you're doing things correctly, these parentheses should match. Now, I'm going to run out of room here, so I'm going to have to write a little bit smaller. That first parenthesis is going to be x plus 4. And my second one is going to be x squared minus 25. All right, we're working. X plus 4 will be my first parenthesis, and my second 2 will be x plus 5, x minus 5. I actually think you guys are getting really good at these because I'm putting them on my spiral. That's a 5, by the way. Don't call them that in a mistake and say, Mr. Kress, a number 5, you put a 6 on a 5. We'll be fighting. All right. So then we get to these problems. Oh my God, why to the 4th? I can't do it. Why to the 4th? Come on, you're growing up now. We're good. We can handle this. It's just y squared and y squared. Multiply to negative 36. Well, that's got to be a positive and a negative. One's got to, but they got to add up to positive 5. So that's got to be x plus 9. I'm sorry, y squared plus 9 and y squared minus 4. Stop here. Not full credit, kiddies. Come on, we got to keep going. We have the difference of perfect squares in that second one. You can't touch this one. There's no such thing as a sum of perfect squares. Don't touch that one. This one we can touch. Y plus 2, y minus 2. Anybody get everything right so far? Don't believe you. I do. I'm just kidding. There's a few of you. Grouping again. There's 4 things. Here we go. Take out a 4x squared. I made this one kind of crazy. Just like some of you. All right. We took out a 4, and that leaves me x plus 2. I'm going to copy over that 9, or that negative. I'm going to really take out a negative 9, and again, that leaves me x plus 2. Notice I've done that a couple of times. I'm trying to mess with your mind. Don't screw up these parentheses. This one and this one better match when you're doing these kinds of factoring. If not, it doesn't factor, and you can't do it. All right. First set of parentheses is x plus 2. Second set of parentheses is 4x squared. So if I take this away, what am I left with? See it sitting there? 4x squared minus 9. Oh my God, you guys are so smart. Mr. Krause, you're not done. You got the difference of perfect squares. I'm going to green because everybody says green's a much nicer and prettier color. No, it's not. It's really kind of an ugly color. A little fun fact, yellow's my favorite color. I don't know why. It just is. Always has been. If I had my money, I'd buy like a yellow Corvette. I'd be one of those, midlife crisis old man driving a, fast car. No, I wouldn't. I'd buy a big yellow truck. 4x squared is 2x times 2x plus 3, and minus 3 makes that negative 9. I think if I bought a yellow Corvette, I might be divorced. My wife would be too embarrassed to be seen with me. All right, here we go. M squared. That makes m to the 4th. That should be no surprise. 81, perfect square, plus 9, minus 9. Now, if you're smart enough to realize that's going to be a minus 9, and you're like, oh, but I'll just go on. I can skip that step and just write it as m plus 3, m minus 3. I'm okay with that. M squared plus 9, nothing to do with that, but like I just said, this one's going to turn out to be m plus 3, m minus 3. Now notice I did not solve any of these. All of these in question 5 were not solved. They were just factored. If you go through and solve them, and if you actually came through and tried to give me some answers here, you'd actually lose points. Because it doesn't have equal to 0, so it can't be solved. So it doesn't have equal to 0, it doesn't have equal to something. It's not equal to something. You're not going to be able to solve it. So don't do it. All right, here we go. These have equal to 0, so we're going to have to be able to solve these. So, x squared, 1's plus, actually they're both negative in this case because they have to multiply to a positive and add up to a negative. And we've been doing this long enough. Hopefully you know 3 and 36 multiply to 108. I'm still not done though because that thing can be factored. And I get x plus 6 and x minus 6. Okay, so because this has equal to 0, yes, you have to solve these. And yes, I am going to put on maybe a difficult one like this one. X squared minus 3 equals 0. X squared equals positive 3. Take the square root of both sides, and you know if you take the square root, you have to put a plus or minus square root of 3. These are easy. X equals negative 6. X equals positive 6. Moving on. Notice there's only 3 things here, so I'm not going to factor by grouping. I'm just going to factor. X squared. X squared. Should be very similar to this problem. Let's see. Wait a second here. Now we've got a negative, so 1's going to be positive. 1's going to be negative. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 98 that add up to negative 47 should be obvious. 49 and positive 2. Oh, can't do that yet. Haven't finished factoring. So let me finish factoring. We're going to do nothing to do with x squared plus 2. That kind of just comes around for the ride. But this is x plus 7, x minus 7. And now we have to figure out, just flipping around all these things. This is going to give me x squared plus 2 equals 0, or x squared equals negative 2. And since I have to do a little bit more work, I'm going to put the square root there, and I'm going to put my plus and minus. And you may not leave it as the square root of negative 2. You must tell me that in this case x equals plus or minus I square roots of 2. So that's one of your answers right there. This is going to give me x equals negative 7, and this will give me x equals positive 7. Simple stuff, simple stuff. Here we go, moving on. All right, I'm going to try to skip steps a little bit on this one. No, I won't. I'll mess some of you up. X squared plus 4, x squared minus 4 equals 0. This can be factored to x plus 2, x minus 2. That was the step I was going to skip. But I decided, why not just talk really, really fast through it, just like I do in class, trying to confuse as many possible students as possible. Got any question, Lydia? Thought so. Just kidding. I know you're studying hard. I know you're looking through this video. I know you're watching me. Anybody scared that I'm over here in the corner? My hands are gone. Hands are back. Hands are gone. Hands are back. Hands are gone. Now I'm gone. Did the green screen show up? There's a green screen behind me. Can you see it? Didn't think so. I was thinking about wearing a green shirt. Next to one of these videos, I'm just going to wear like a green shirt, and so that it looks like I'm just a talking head with arms, maybe, or maybe with the hands. I don't know. That'd be kind of funny. I'll try that some other time. This one gives me x squared equals negative 4. When you bring the negative 4 over, I'm going to take the square root because I have a little bit of work to do on this one. I'm going to put a plus or minus. So in this case, I get x squared, oops, x equals plus or minus 2i. This one, x equals negative 2, x equals positive 2. This one looks really bad. Oh no, it's not. It's not at all. Not at all. No crying, no whining. This is the tricky part right here we're going to have to talk about. We got to be very, very careful with this one. This one does have some interesting stuff in it. GCF here is 25x squared, and we're going to be left with x minus 6. Now, you should start to recognize numbers that are perfect squares. And as soon as you see those perfect squares, you got to be thinking, oh, I got perfect squares, got a lot of factoring, probably going to be the difference of perfect squares somewhere. We're going to copy over this sign minus, and I have to put a number outside these parentheses. The only thing that x and 6 have in common is the number 1. So I have to put a number 1 there. Just do. Okay, so I put the number 1 there, but it's really a negative 1 that I've factored out. And so if I do that and I factor a negative 1 away from negative x, I'm left with positive x. If I factor a negative x away from positive 6, I'm left with negative 6. And again, notice these two parentheses right here match. So those are my first two sets of parentheses, x minus 6. And again, take a look. If I cross this off and I cross this off, what am I left with? 25x squared minus 1 equals 0. Well, these are both perfect squares. 25's. Oh, isn't that weird how I made that work out? So I'm going to leave that as x minus 6. Got to factor this. 5x plus 1. 5x minus 1 equals 0. Let me get my red pen out. Hopefully I don't see too much red pen on your test because you guys worked hard, studied hard, watched this video, tried to stay awake during the entire thing. This one gives me x equals 6. Kind of boring. This one I have a little bit of work to do. I got some 7th grade algebra to do. It's 5x plus 1 equals 0. I don't have room, so you're going to have to follow along. I'm going to subtract this 1, bring it to the right side, and then I'm going to divide by 5. So I get x equals negative 1 over 5. And this one, I get x equals positive 1 over 5. 2 left. Holy crap. Lots of factoring. Lots of F words. Woo! We love factoring, Mr. Krause. Factoring's the best. Okay, it's really early. I just had a cup of coffee. I'm a little wired. My nose itches. Sorry about scratching it. As long as I'm not picking it, I'm good shape. If I start picking my nose, you have permission to turn it off. No, you don't, because you got to get kicked butt on Monday's test. All right, one's got to be plus. One's got to be minus. You guys know it. Plus 12, minus 4. Difference of perfect squares. Krause, why do you keep doing this to us? It's more work. It's killing us. X plus 2. X minus 2 equals 0. So, here I'm going to get x squared equals negative 12 Ah, this one's got some work to do. Let me change to blue. All right, square root. And since I'm running out of room, I'm going to look at the square root of negative 12 off to the side over here. I think by now, my goodness, we have done so much with radicals. Lately, you guys should be geniuses at these. Negative 4 times 3. And the square root of negative 4 is 2i. So this thing becomes x equals, oops, forgot to put my plus or minus. Ah, can't call me out on that one. Found it. Okay, I'm a little crazy right now. Plus or minus 2i, square roots of 3. X equals negative 2. Woo! That's a 2. X equals positive 2. I should have some music running in the background. But it would be that crap music that I listen to, and you guys would hate it, and then you wouldn't listen to me any longer. Then you'd all fail the test. And if you fail the test, then you're going to be a loser in life. And if you're a loser in life, then you'll have to work at McDonald's for the rest of your life, or maybe panhandle on the street corner, and you don't want to be doing that. So I guess I won't turn the music on. I can sing now. Oh my gosh. What question are we on? Like 6? And I got to get to like 1 billion? By the time I get to the 1,000,000th question, you guys are going to be so sick of hearing my voice. Hopefully you guys know how to scrub through and fast forward and get past all this craziness and this nonsense. What is this? X. I'm taking out an x squared. I'm left with x minus 10. I better have an x minus 10 over here. Taking out a 6. I'm left with x minus 10. Sweet. They match. X minus 10. X squared plus 6. Thank you, Mr. Krause. There's no more factoring to be done. We're finished with the factoring. X equals 10. And because I'm really lazy, no, I'm not lazy. I'll get it to you. I'll show it to you. X squared equals negative 6. We take the square root of both sides. When you take the square root of both sides, you have to remember to put a what? You have to remember to put a plus or minus. Did I wake anybody up? Plus or minus. So I get X equals plus or minus I almost made a mistake there. Square root's of 6. I gotta stop having so much fun. Okay, there's one answer. Actually, that's 2 answers. And there's 2 answers. Let's go to the next page. And I'm going to blow that up. Oh my gosh, this is the easy one. Adding, subtracting. Where's my mouse? There it is. Can't find it. My computer makes funny noises. Just kidding, that was me. God, I'm good at sound effects. Question 7. We can fly through these. Subtract. Now you're subtracting this from this. So if you subtract something from something, this is the thing, then we're subtracting these. So remember, we can scrub out this subtract and just put a minus here. So really what we have here is this is a minus, this is a plus, this is a minus, and this is a minus. So now I can put things together. X cubed and negative 2x cubed is negative x cubed. Negative 2x squared and positive 3x squared is positive x. I haven't looked at you guys in a long time. Let me look at you guys. Oh, that's freaking creepy, man. That's really creepy. X squared. Positive x, negative 3x minus 2x. And negative 9 and negative 1 minus 10. By the way, some seriously awesome basketball play last night. Congratulations, guys. Good win last night. Good to see Reed Metzger stop bleeding all over the court. And then they got freaking Bailey got blood on his shirt. I'm not sure who he beat up. That was good. All right, distribute the negative. 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 Yes, Bailey did something good, kids. Be careful. He said he's going to study and beat all you on this test. You don't want Bailey to beat you on this test, do you? Oh, he might. Study. Distribute that negative. So, 5x to the 4th minus, let's distribute right now. That's going to make this a plus. That's going to make this a minus. That's going to make this a plus. And that's going to make this a minus. Just distribute that negative. So, 5x to the 4th plus 2x to the 4th is 7x to the 4th. Notice I am not changing the exponents. When we add or subtract, no exponent changes. Negative 2x cubed. That's it. Negative 2x cubed. Now to do this in standard form, this x squared has to come next, and it's the only one that's there, so it's minus 8x squared. Everything must be submitted in standard form, otherwise, ka-ching! Minus points. Don't want those. Bailey might beat you. Don't let Bailey beat you. That's going to be our new motto. I'm not going to let Bailey beat me. Bailey's smart. He'll beat you. Are you, Bailey? Can you handle it? Are you watching me now? Can you hear me? All right. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Oh, we got a plain old x, so we'll go plus x. And then we can put the 9 and the minus 2 together, and we make a plus 7. All right, adding. That's why I can do that on those. Oh, my gosh, Mr. Krause, this is so difficult. They're backwards. It's just plus. We're going to add that with that. That gives me negative x to the 4th. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. You're ugly and your mama dresses you funny. We got a cube here. We got a cube here, so we'll make that plus. I'm just kidding, guys. You're not ugly, but your mama does dress you funny. And those go funny. Negative 7x squared and positive 3x squared is negative 4x squared. If your mom's still dressing you at this age, just kidding, buddy. You not to stop. All right, minus 19. Perfect. Y'all better have gotten that one right. That was an easy one. All right, another subtract from. I'm going to show you these. We're doing them backwards. Gee, I wonder, Mr. Krause, are you going to put a subtract from on the test? I wonder if that's going to be on the test. Creeped out. I know. Here we go. I'm going to do this. Remember, this is a big old minus sign. We're going to put the minus sign. We're going to distribute that minus. Make that a plus. Make this a minus. Make that a plus. Make that a plus. And we're going to just go to town. 5x cubed, 3x cubed, 8x cubed. Negative 2x squared and negative 5x squared is minus 7x squared. Positive x and positive x makes plus 2x. And 4 and 2 make 6. All right, now we got some work to do. I did not give you any easy multiplyings with just double distributing. I decided to make these a little bit more difficult. We're going to triple distribute. So we're going to take this one. We're going to multiply by all 3. I'm going to do these in red, and then I'll switch over to green. I'll put my answer in blue. It'll look so nice. Maybe I'll do red and black. Hilton colors. Maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So 3x times x squared. 3x squared. 3x times 3x. Negative 3x minus 9x squared. And 3x times positive 10 is plus 30x. Don't you wish you guys could switch colors this easy? Oh, yeah. No, we're going to black. Black and red. Black and red. Black and red. Negative 1 times x squared minus x squared. Negative 1 times negative 3x. Positive 3x. Negative 1 times positive 10. Negative 10. All right, now I'm going to put my answer in white. God, that would be stupid. 3. I didn't make a mistake. I caught it. So if anybody's coming in here saying I made a mistake, I caught it right here, right now. Right here, right now. Right. Okay, I'm getting crazy. This is a cube. 3x squared times x squared is 3x cubed. Now, I noticed that because I was going to start putting together multiple x squareds, and I knew that was going to be a problem. So this really is 3x cubed. Someone was like, oh my gosh, I hope he makes that mistake. I caught him, I got. Oh, damn, that guy's way too smart for me. Let's put the x squared together. Plus 33x minus 10. Nobody can have this much fun at 8:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning doing math. I mean, nobody can. Unless, of course, you are a delusional, sick math teacher and you have no life whatsoever. That's me. I'm doing it for you. You better do well on this test. Otherwise, we're fighting. Oh, yeah, we're fighting. And if anybody does not do this practice test, just bring your wings, because I'm tossing you out the window. And I'm on the 3rd floor. I got the penthouse suite. I'm on the west side. East side. Tossing you out. All right, let's see if I can not screw this one up. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times 3 is plus 3x cubed. X squared times negative 6 is negative 6x squared. Man, I had to use my brain there. Did you see the pain in my eyes? All right, here we go. Negative 2x times positive x squared is negative 2x cubed. Negative 2x times positive 3x. Oh, got a scratch in my earlobe. Is negative 6x squared. And negative 2x times negative 6 is positive 12x. Oh my gosh, this problem never ends. 8 times x squared is plus 8x squared. 8 times 3x is plus 3x. 8 times negative 6 is negative 48. Heater just came on. I'm in the basement, by the way. I'm going to take a picture of my studio. This is an amazing studio. And then when you see it, you're going to be like, oh my God, that professional looking stuff comes from there. And you'll wonder why I'm freezing. Maybe I'm going a little crazy. Where the heck am I? X to the 4th. I got rid of you. Got an x cubed here. And I got an x cubed here. Get rid of them. They make plus x cubed. X squared, x squared, x squared. Minus 6 and minus 6 make negative 12. Plus 8. Negative 4. X squared. Get rid of them. Positive 12x. 3x is plus 15x minus 48. Ooh, that problem took 6 weeks. All right, loser alert. Loser alert. If the person next to you does this on their test, don't check during the test. I'll let you know later. But if they do this during the test, you have my permission to smack the living dead. No, you don't. I don't. Just kidding about that. They do not do the loser thing by doing 4x squared minus 25 or 4x squared plus 25. Oh, God, I will puke. Did you ever see that commercial where the guy goes, oh my God, I can't look at this table any longer. It's going to make me puke. It's so gross. It's going to make me puke. And they're like, I have to turn that commercial off. It kind of makes me sick. It's kind of like that lady that goes, you better record your voice. Please stop smoking. Anybody smoke? Stop smoking. Stop chewing. Your lips are going to fall out. Your teeth are going to turn yellow. The girls don't like it. The guys don't like it. All right, back to the problem. 2x minus 5. 2x minus 5. So we got to double distribute. We get 4x squared. These give me minus 10x. These give me minus 10x. And then the last two things give me positive 25. So don't be a loser. No losers in my class. My final answer is 4x squared minus 20x plus 25. Oh my God. I'm going to do this one 2 different ways because I think I've got smart people and hardworking. We're going to do the smart and we're going to do the hardworking. If you're smart in life, you will be very successful. Some point in your life, if you're smart and you're a brainiac, some point in your life you'll probably be successful unless you get on drugs or alcohol and really screw up your life. Please don't do that. If you're hardworking, you'll make it in life. If you're lazy, life is going to be really, really difficult for you. Get used to living with mommy and daddy and asking for permission for everything. Don't do it. Not fun. Okay. So we're going to do it the hardworking way. We're going to do, oh my God, this is going to take me forever. 3M. I'm going to have to write really small to do it the hardworking way because the hardworking way is very difficult. It's doable, but difficult. We're going to double distribute these. Let me get the different color here just because I want to be festive. So I get 9m squared. Now, because I'm going to run out of room, these two make minus 6n. mn, and these two make minus 6mn. So I'm just going to make that minus 12mn. Yes, sorry, had a brain cramp. And then finally, we're going to get plus 4n squared. And this I got to take and multiply it by this, which is 3m minus 2n. So 9m times 3m is 27m cubed. 9m times negative 2n is minus 18m squared n. The middle one, minus 12 or negative 12 times positive 3 is negative 36m squared n. Negative 12mn times negative 2m is positive 24 mn squared. And finally, plus 12 2mn squared minus 8n cubed. So my final answer is 27m cubed minus 54m squared n plus 36mn squared minus 8n cubed. All right, I'm going to need a little bit of room here, I think. I don't know how much room I'm going to lose, so I'm going to move the word smart. You guys know this is the smart side. We're going to use Pascal's triangle. The 3, 1 is 1, 3, 3, 1. If Pascal's triangles, remember, it goes 1, 2, 1. Right? Pascal's triangle. Let me erase a little more. Just remind you of the whole thing. Get rid of loser alert. Loser alert, loser alert. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. We'll use this one. If you remember correctly, we're going to go 1, parenthesis, 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 plus 3, parenthesis, 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 plus 3, parenthesis, 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 plus 1, parenthesis, 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 parenthesis. Let me get a different color. My highest exponent is 3, so 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. We don't need the zeros. And in here goes 3m, 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 3m. I don't need to do that one. And in the second set of parentheses, oh, I just made a mistake. Sorry, I knew I was doing too many 3m's. This one doesn't get a 3m. And the second one is going to go negative 2n, negative 2n, and negative 2n, and negative 2n. So here I get 3m cubed. So that's 3 cubed is 27m cubed. 3 squared is 9. 9 times 3 is 27 times negative 2 is negative 54 m squared n. 3 times 3 is 9. Negative 2 squared is positive 4. Positive 4 times 9 is positive... Oh, I forgot to put the n in here. Sorry about that. Positive 9... I'm sorry, positive 36. It's positive 4 times positive 9 is positive 36 m n squared. And then I just get negative 2 cubed, which is minus 8 n cubed. Same answer. I'm not sure which one's smarter. I don't like doing all this work. I just think there's going to be lots of places to make mistakes. And you're going to have to do this anyway. We'll do it later. Oh, did you all forget long division? So we're going to long divide here, kiddies. So let me scroll down a little bit. There we go. Perfect. So x plus 5. 2x cubed plus 13x plus squared plus 6x minus 45. Let me grab another color. X times what gives me 2x cubed? 2x squared. So 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times 5 is plus, burp alert, 10x squared. I'm going to do my subtraction in blue. Minus and minus, and I get 3x squared. I'll bring down this positive 6x. X times what gives me 3x squared? Positive 3x. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 5 is plus 15x. Going to subtract in red. Minus and a minus. This gives me negative 9x. Bring down the 45. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. Negative 9 times positive 5 is negative 45. Notice these two things are exactly the same. And when I go through and I subtract, changes to a plus, changes to a plus, and I get 0. But the directions are factor completely. So I got to take this thing off to the side and I have to factor it. 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. Yes, you can use product sum. I am not going to use product sum. I do not believe in product sum. If you're a product sum fanatic, go at it. I'm a poet, didn't even know it. All right, getting lazy, getting crazy. I'm guessing 3 and 3. What do you think? Got to be 3 and 3. It's probably not 9. Make this a negative, make this a positive. That means it's positive 6x, negative 3x. That gives me my positive 3x. Okay, so my final answer is x plus 5, 2x minus 3, x plus 3. Done. Just a different way to write it. Same exact problem. X minus 2. Now you're going to have to be a little more careful. We've got a minus 2 in here this time, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky. Not much. All right, let me get the red. X times 3x squared is 3x cubed, so 3x cubed. So I'm taking this and I'm multiplying it here, and I'm taking this and I'm multiplying it here. So 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times minus or negative 2 is negative 6x squared. We'll subtract. Let me get a different color. We're going to subtract. Changes this to a plus, which makes this 11x squared. Bring down to 26x. You awake? Thought so. Just checking. X times 11x is 11x squared. 11x times negative 2 is negative 22x. Grab a different color. I'll subtract. Changes to a plus. Gives me negative 4x. Bring down the positive 8. I didn't think it was going to work, but it looks like it might work. We're going to multiply by negative 4 because negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. And for my class, these should always match. We're going to subtract, change it to a plus, change it to a minus. We get 0. So my answer is 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. And I don't have any more work to do. I'm finished. That's it. Done. Wouldn't want to be you. All right, last one. Hopefully you guys are getting good at this stuff. Hopefully you're sticking with it. Hopefully you have a box of Kleenexes next to you just in case you think I'm too mean. Which I am. I'm a mean motor scooter. Yeah. Mean motor scooter. Yeah. 58x minus 24. Just in case you're wondering, I could have gone into professional singing. Oh yeah. I am one sick son of a gun when it comes to the vocal cords. I am. X times 6x squared gives me 6x cubed, so that's 6x cubed. And then I multiply it by here. I get negative 24x squared. We're going to subtract. Changes this to a plus. That gives me negative 13x squared. Bring down the 58x. Just to show you guys a little bit more what we're doing here. Let me get rid of these. I'll grab a new color. I'm looking to see what multiplies to this negative 13x squared here, and that's negative 13x. So negative 13x times x is negative 13x squared. Negative 13x times negative 4 is positive 52x. Yes. We're going to subtract, change this to a plus, change this to a minus, and I get negative. Something's not right. Oh, that's my problem. I've got to bring down a 58x. I knew something was not right. So 58 minus 52 is positive 6x. I knew something wasn't right because I was going to get some crazy answers. Minus 24. Let me show you a little bit what we're doing. Give me a little eraser. Get to black. And I got to multiply to 6x this time, so it's just plus 6. So 6 times x, 6x. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. And again, notice they match, so when I subtract, everything changes, and I get 0. Bring this off to the side. Yes, Mr. Krause, you're a jerk. You gave me 6x squared I'm going to cry like a big baby. And I got a positive 6 over here. Oh, it's so hard. I'm going to try 3x and 2x first because Mr. Krause said I shouldn't. And I'm going to try 3 and 2 here. I can't put a 3 in this one, so I'll put the 2. I can't put the 2 in this one, so I'll put the 3. We know that both signs have to be the same because this is positive. You know that they both have to be negative. Let's see if it works. This is negative 9. This is negative 4. I'm so good to you guys. So my final answer is factored completely. This is x minus 4, 3x minus 2, 2x minus 3. There's it factored completely. All right, so the next page are the other kinds of ways I can ask these same exact questions, and we're going to do it 3 more times. I hope it's just 3 more times because I'm kind of annoyed. So this is one. If you can do one of these, you don't really have to do all of them. You certainly can get the practice in, but you don't have to do all of them. So here's how this one works, if you remember correctly. This time I'm going to tell you that this negative 7 is a root. Now let's go back on our knowledge of what's going on. If I've got x plus 7, x minus 3, let's just say something like that, then x equals negative 7 is a root. That's a 7. Well, if I want to find a root, then to find one of the factors, remember it's going to be x plus 7. So my divisor here is x plus 7. And then the work's the same. So if you've got a really good handle on this, maybe do one and don't do the rest. If you don't, practice. Please practice. And if you keep getting them wrong, practice again. I'll have a copy of this practice test online. You can reprint it and do it again. If you've lost it, you can do it again. It should either be in the Unit 4 section or right on this page. I'll try to make it available as easily as possible to you. Let's go to 3. So x times x squared gives me x cubed. So that's x cubed. X squared times 7 is plus 7x squared. We're going to subtract, change the signs. I get negative 9x squared minus 55x. 9, or negative 9 times x is negative 9x squared. So we're going to multiply by negative 9x. So I get negative 9x squared. Negative 9 times positive 7 is negative 63x. We're going to subtract, which means we add, and we get 8x plus 56. X times 8 is 8x, so that's plus 8. So I get 8x. 8 times 7 is 56, so that's plus 56. And I subtract, I get 0. All right, not done. I still got to factor it. And I left it the factoring here is pretty easy. I'm just going to go right into it. It's x and x minus 8 minus 1. And if you factor completely, then the first one will be x plus 7. Next one. All right, so 5 is our root. That means my divisor is x minus 5, not plus 5, minus 5. Even I'm too tired of doing these problems. Oh my gosh, you guys got to be really tired of doing these problems. 3x cubed plus 16x squared minus 85x minus 350. All right, we're going to multiply by 3x squared, and I get 3x cubed minus 15x squared. I just realized this said find the other roots. So I'm not done on this problem. My other roots are x equals 8 and x equals 1. So the actual answer to this question is positive 8 and positive 1. Those probably should be in reversed order, but you never get points off for that. So here again, make sure we're going to find the other roots in these. Oh, almost caught me. So I get, oh my, 31x squared. Bring down the negative 85x. Oh, we got this 350, so we're going to have some big numbers here. So I'm going to do minus 31x. So, no, plus 31x. And 31x times negative 5 is negative 165x. Subtract, add. Something's not right here, kiddies. It's not 165, it's 155. That was my problem. This is 155. Sorry about that. A little bad math. Put that back in there. It's 155. When I subtract these, turns that to a plus sign. I get positive 70x minus 350. Multiplied by positive 70, I get 70x minus 350. Subtract, I get 0. So my other two, or the thing I have to continue to factor is 3x squared plus 31x plus 70. Wow, I was not nice on this problem. 3x and x. I'm going with 7 and 10. That's probably going to give me something. Let's see, that's 21 and 10. That's 31. There it is. Plus and plus. So my answers, or my last answer is x equals negative 7. And we've already done enough of these. You're going to set 3x plus 10 equal to 0. So 3x equals negative 10, or x equals negative 10 over 3. So the answers here are negative 10 over 3, comma, negative 7. We are finished. That was a tough one. Oh my gosh, one more. I hope I don't have any on the next page, because I think I've done enough of these. Hopefully you guys are geniuses by now. Negative 8, that makes our divisor x plus 8. X cubed plus 8x squared minus 9x minus 72. X squared. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 8 is plus 8x squared. Oh yeah, I forgot I gave you this problem. I hope you guys got to this problem, because this kind of problem is very tricky. This one's a little bit tricky. I'm going to subtract here. Notice everything goes away. So which means I got to take down both of these things. And I don't even worry about this. So x times negative 9 is negative 9x. So I'm left with negative 9x, and negative 9 times positive 8 is negative 72. Subtract, add, and they go away. So this problem is tricky at this point right here, but then it becomes an easy problem. X squared minus 9 equals 0. We're going to do x plus 3, x minus 3, and my other two roots are negative 3 and positive. Positive 3. I don't know what the heck that thing is. I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist. All right, so we get to the stuff that you guys have not traditionally done very well with. So I'm going to do these both ways. I'm going to do these using binomial expansion theorem, and I'm also going to do it using Pascal's triangle. Probably just saw my green screen when I move like that. I got to get comfortable. My feet are getting cold. Okay. So if you're going to use Pascal's triangle, let's see if I can get a little room up here. And hopefully it'll let me write up here. It's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. And it's this row I need. So, using Pascal's triangle and that row that I need, I am going to go 1, 2 sets of parentheses, plus 4, 2 sets of parentheses, plus 6, two sets of parentheses, plus 4, two sets of parentheses. Is that getting old? It's getting old to me. I want to shut my own mouth up. Then I'll come over here, just because we want to use different colors. I'm going to use small one. So, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Blast off! 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I'll use red. I'll use the small red. 2x goes in the first parentheses. I'll tell you what, why I'm doing this. Let me get the calculator up. What did I do with that calculator? There it is. Hopefully I still got, I'm on the trial version of my software. I hope that shows up. Man, that takes forever. Alright, I have 20 days left. No, I don't have to continue with trial version. Next. Alright, so that'll come up in a minute. We'll use that. We're going to use that on this problem. And I'll show you how to use that on a computer. Of course, I think at home you still should be able to use your brain. Got to keep it from keeping your ears from slamming together. Oh, this is the 0. We'll just get rid of that one. What do you got for me? I'm with you. Get off my screen. We'll minimize you for now. We'll maximize you, then minimize you. All right. And then the other one's going to go to 3. Where did my thing go? 3, 3. Wait a second. I don't need this one. 3, 3, and 3. So, in this one, you're going to do 2 to the 4th power. Well, hopefully you know that's 16x to the 4th. Plus, now here's where you may want to use your calculator. I know I got this expanded really large. I don't need that. I'm going to go into calculator mode. Now we're going to type this in exactly as it appears. Now we're not going to worry about the variables. We're just going to type it in. So it's 4 parentheses 2 cubed times 3. Got to get out of parentheses 3 parentheses, and you hit enter, and it tells you it's 96. So plus 96x cubed plus calculator. Four parenthesis 2 parenthesis squared parenthesis. Oops. So you notice how I got all this crap going on all over the place? I got to be careful. Let me get rid of this. So parenthesis 3 parenthesis squared. That's what I have there. Don't worry about the x. The x doesn't go, we don't put that in there. We get 144. So I come back over here. I get 144x squared. And then this is 4 times 2, which is 6 times 3 cubed. Okay, so now we're going to have to do 3 cubed. So we're going to put that in exactly as it appears. Hopefully you can see off to the side. So we're going to do 4 parenthesis 2 parenthesis parenthesis 3 parenthesis cubed. So this is really 6 times 27, which is 216. So plus 216x plus, and then 3 to the 4th. I'm not going to use the calculator, it's just 81. And there's your answer. That's using the binomial theorem. You can choose to do that, or you can do this, if you remember correctly. Since our exponent is 4, we're going to do 4c0, 4c1, 4c2, 4c3, and 4c4. Now, on the later problems, you're really going to want to use this method. 4c0, let's show you how to use the calculator real quickly so we can get those done. Just a reminder. We're going to go into menu, probability, combinations. There's the C, and we just do 4 comma, 0, enter, 1. And then we'll go back. And then I'm just going to hit the up arrow so I don't have to do all that stuff again. And then change that to a 1. Enter. 4. And hit the up arrow. Enter. And change that to a 2. Oh, it's 12. Anyway, if you did a 2, it'd be 6. And then, of course, these match, so this has to be 4, and this has to be 1. 2 sets of parentheses. The only thing different between this, 1, 2, 3, oh, what a mess. I'm trying to get all this in here slowly. I got all my parentheses all over the place. So, parentheses here. The only thing this really saves you later on is having to write out Pascal's triangle for something longer than 4. You can decide if you want to do that. That's fine with me. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Don't need the zeros. So this is 2x, 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 3, 3, 3, 3. And I'm not going through all the math, but when you're done, you'd find out, where'd my thing go? Equals 16x to the 4th. This would give you 96x cubed. This would give you 144x squared. This would give you 216x, and this would give you 81. So you'd still have to write it out like this. I'm not going to do that because it's taking too much time, but that is the right answer. All right, so we go back up here. The next row on this one will be 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. So let me copy those down. 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. Yeah, that's 5, 1. Looks like S1 to me. All right, so 1, 2 sets of parentheses. I'm only going to do this one this way. I'll show you why, because I'm going to use the binomial or the binomial theorem on the next couple of problems. All right, and the exponents are going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're not going to need that one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We're not going to need that one. In the beginnings, now this one's got to be careful because we got a negative on this one. 4 and minus y. We got a 4 and minus y. We have a 4 and minus y. A 4 and minus y. And a negative y. So we're going to have to be careful on this one. 4 to the 5th. Let's see. 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64 times 4 is 256. What am I going? What was I at? 64 times 4. Double it. 128. Double it again. You get 256. Double that. You get 512. But just to make sure, you're going to do 4 raised to the 5th power. You get 256. I think I missed a power. Whatever. 4 to the 5th power. Where am I? Okay. 4 to the 5th power. I don't even know what we just said. I'm tired. 1024. Good. 1024. Nothing else to do with that. Plus, or is it plus? We got to decide if it's going to be plus or minus. 4 to the 4th power. So 4 to the 4th power. I believe that was my 512. 4 to the 4th power. That's your 512. That's your 256. Oh, I know what it is. I was doing 2, not 4. Sometimes I can make myself dumb. So on this one, it's going to be, so it's 4 to the 4th is 256, and then we have to multiply times 5. And it's 1280. But don't forget, we also have this minus here. Remember, when we have a negative, one's going to be always positive, one's going to always be negative. Negative 1280y. Now the next one has an even exponent, so that's going to be plus. 4 cubed is 64. 64 times 10 is 640. So this is just going to be 640 y squared. Next one's in an odd exponent, so it's going to be minus. 16 times 10 is 160 y cubed. 4 to the first times 5 is 20, but it's negative y to the 4th. That's positive. So it's positive 20 y to the 4th. And then the final answer is minus, because it's negative, and this is y to the 5th. Now, to really get full credit for this one, you have to write it in standard form. So it's going to be negative y to the 5th plus 20y to the 4th minus 160y cubed plus 640y squared minus 1280y minus or plus 1024. All right, so here I only want the 4th term. Now, I don't even want to think about what Pascal's triangle is for that. So I'm going to go 7c0, 7c1, 7c2, 7c3. And this is my 4th term. Equals, 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 equals. Now, there is a calculator on my main page. So, and even above this video link, there'll probably be a calculator link. So use that. 7c0 is 1. 7c1 is 7. 7c2, I believe, is 21, if I'm not mistaken. 7, comma 2. 21, I think the next one's going to be 35. So 21, just to make sure I'm 100% correct. Oh. Enter. 7C3 is 35, yes. So it's 35. So 35, now we're going to do parentheses. Again, I only care about this 4th term. So this is A and this is B. 7, 6, 5, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3. So my answer is 35A to the 4th B cubed. Done. I want the middle term. So it's 6C, C0, 6C1, 6C2, 6C3, 6C4, 6C5, 6C6. Here's my middle term. So that's really the only one I need. I do 6C3. I think we've already done that. So let me go back up here and see what it was. I didn't do 6. I didn't do 6. So I go back over to my calculator. And I'm going to choose 6C3. And I get 20. So 20 parentheses. In the beginning parentheses is going to go x, and negative 4y goes in the second one. Six, 5, 4, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now don't forget, these two have to add up to 6. So I need to get that in my calculator, if I wanted to. Negative 4 cubed is negative 64 times 20. Anybody? Come on. All right. So it's 20, parenthesis, negative 4 cubed. 64 times 10 is 640. So we're going to guess negative 1280. There it is. Negative 1280. Now it's going to be x cubed, y cubed. Now why negative? Because we have a negative to an odd exponent. There's my answer. Moving on. Oh my gosh, I gave you more practice. You gotta be loving life here. Now we already did 7, but whatever. Alright, so we're going to do 7. So we do 7C0, 7C1, 7C2, 7C3, 7C4, and there's our 5th term because we're looking for the 5th term. Now 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Well, if this is 3 and they have to add up to 7, this has to be a 4. 2y, 2w goes here, and 3y goes here. The only thing I've not put in there, and I probably should have done it right at some point, is the 7c4. I didn't figure out what that is. I believe it's 35. Yeah. So we're going to put a 35 in here. So what I have now is 35 times, parentheses, 2 cubed, parentheses, 3 to the 4th. 22,680. So 22,680 w to the cubed, y to the 4th. Okay, wait a second. I know I'm getting punchy. This is where I'm going to start making mistakes, kids, because I'm starting to get a little crazy. It's w cubed y to the 4th. Here's where I kind of made a mistake. I should have put a negative 3 in there, but even still, negative 3 to the 4th power would be positive. So this is, in fact, the right answer. All right, so the second term, we're going to go 4c0, 4c1. There's the second term. We should know that's a 4. 2 sets of parentheses. I tried to be easy on you on this one. 4 and 3, 0 and 1. I go a here and a negative 2b here. So it's 4 times a cubed times negative 2 to the 1st. Well, that's just negative 2. So I get negative 8 a cubed b. So we're going to sketch this. I'm going to show you how to do it first using this, using our brain, and then I'm going to show you using the calculator. So we're going to move to the left 4 and down 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go to the right 1 and up 1. We're going to go to the right 4 and up 2. We're going to go to the right 9. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and up 3. And that's all we're going to get in. So my domain is from negative 4 to positive infinity, and my range is from negative 3 to positive infinity. Now, if you have the graphing calculator, which you will on Monday, what I would like you to do is go to graph. We're going to type in square root of x plus 4, get out of the square root, minus 3. It should look just like I drew it. Now to get to the table, you do Control T and find the points that are nice. And notice we get to error. So my first point is negative 4, negative 3, x and y, negative 4, negative 3, and I think the x one was negative 3, negative 2. Let me just make sure. Negative 3, negative 2, 0, negative 1, 0, negative 1. And my last one is going to be something like 5, right? 5, 0. Now the next nice point, I'm going to guess, is off the graph. There it is, 12, 1. It's off the graph, so that's it. Plot those points, graph the line, we're done. I'll do one more, both graphically and not graphically. So we're going to go down, left 1, up 5. And we're going to go to the right 1, but we're going down 2. We're going down because it's negative, and 2 because we got a 2 out front. We're going to go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not down 2, we're going to go down 4. Then we're going to go to the right 9. And down 6. So my graph should look like this. So my domain is going to be negative 1 to positive infinity. And my range, be careful, is negative infinity all the way up to positive 5. And again, let's take a look what this looks like on the calculator. We're going to type in negative 2 square roots x minus 1, get out of the radical, plus 5. Oh, man. See how nice that is? I caught a mistake I made. Look at that. That's a minus 1. That means I should be going right 1. Embarrassing. Told you, man. This is where I'm going to start making my mistakes. Glad I used my calculator to check it. No, really, seriously, guys. You really want to use your calculator to make sure that you don't make dumb mistakes, especially during a test. You're going along, you're moving along, you think you know what you're doing, and boom, you're going to make a dumb mistake like that. Of course, we don't move to the left 1. It's minus 1. We're going to move to the right 1 and up 5. Over 1 and down 2. Over 4 and down 4. Over 9. That's why I picked 1, by the way. Over 9 and down 6. All right, and then we're going to draw that puppy in. Okay, and then if we look at the table again, if we go look at the table, Control T, we will see we've got error at 0, 1, 5, 2, 3. The next one's 5, 1, and the last one's going to be like 10, negative 1 or something like that. And put that table in. Okay, so that one's not bad. Oh, good. We're into some simple stuff. We're into some fast pages here because I got like 4 pages left, scaring me a little bit. And I know I still got some rationalizing to do. Alrighty, let me get this over here. Not gonna lie, I think the easiest way to do these is going to be to simply go to your calculator. So let's go to our calculator. We will get rid of this. Alright, sit up, getting lazy. Oh, cube root. So we have to do Control caret button to get the cube root. We got to put a 3 there. And an x minus 3 plus 2. Now, I don't really need my calculator to know where that... Remember, this is going to look something like this. It's going to... Uh-oh. I think I have a problem. Oh, there. It's going to look something like this. We're going to look like this, and we got a little graph that looks like that somewhere, okay? I got to know where I move it. So minus 3, we're moving to the right 3 and up 2. So there's going to be my like center point of my curve. And then I know I need to graph it. I know it's going to go to the left, and I know it's going to go to the right. So I know on the cubics, it's negative infinity to positive infinity and negative infinity to positive infinity. But I want to verify that on my calculator. I'll hit enter. Yes, there it is. And go to Control T. Get the 3 or 4. There's only going to be 3 or 4 points. Let's get to the smallest one. It's going to be way down here. Negative 5, 0. And the next one you'll see is going to be way out here. There it is. Negative 24. Remember, because 27 is the next perfect cube. So, negative 5, 0. X, Y. Negative 5, 0. Sorry I'm looking down so much. I have to look at my computer screen. I used to have the camera right on my laptop, but when I shake it, it goes all crazy. So Can't do that anymore. Go back to my table. The next nice value was 2, 1. So we're going to use 2, 1. 2, 1. The next nice value, I know the next nice value. It's going to be 3, 2. And the next one's going to be 4, 3. Let's check. Triple check. 3, 2. 4, 3. And I don't know if we're going to get another nice value in. 11, 4. Wow, that one I can kind of help put in by graphing. So let's go. -5, 0. Wait, we got this one. I got this one. -5, 0. And 11, 4. I sketch. And notice negative infinity to positive infinity. Moving on. Another cubic. This is negative. It's going to move to the left 1, down 3. And therefore my range on these is always, or domain and range is always going to be the same on these. Negative infinity to positive infinity, because they just go forever and ever to the right, forever to the left. Can you see my hands? Lost my hands again. But if I use my calculator, and you'll be able to use your calculator on Monday, don't forget. I'll get out of this. No. Go back into graphing and type it in again. Control caret 3 x plus 1 outside -3 enter. It should look like that. Notice it looks like that. We'll do Control T just to get to the calculator. Find the leftmost button. Dang, -2, -4 might be it, but let's see. -9, -5. That's our first one. Got to keep going. -9, -5, and let's get those other 3 right away. -2, -4, -2, -4, -1, -3, 0, -2, and I think I can get one more. Got to find that one more. 7, -1. So -9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. -2, -4, 0, -2, 7, -1. Anybody want to guess why I went back to the calculator and looked? I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you. This is not right. This is not right. I made the classic blunder. I knew something was wrong when I graphed this, and I look at it and I say, okay, why does my graph here look like my graph there? When they clearly should not, because of this thing that I just forgot. I forgot that negative. Completely forgot that negative, which means that these points aren't going to be correct. Okay? And just so you know, if when I correct these points, I'll put the table in blue here. When you go over to the table, your table is going to look a little bit differently. You should have a table of X and Y, and it should be -9, but in this case it's going to be -1. And it should be -2, but in this case it's going to be -2. And this is right, -1, -3. But this should be 0, -4, and 7, -5. And if I do that and I go over the calculator, I know I forgot the negative. I can tell. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, I can put that, looks like I'm going to be able to put the negative in. Put that negative in. And I get it. Now my graph looks right. Now my graph looks right. And if I go back over my table, you'll see that negative, oops, you'll find that -9 has a -1. That's why when I was looking at it, that's why I went back and I'm like, oh my God, something's wrong. because both of these can't be going in the same direction. So this is the correct graph. Hopefully you have the correct graph. And this red one, garbage. All right, I found another mistake. All right, evaluate the following. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do this in my head, and then we're going to do it online. I'll do it in the calculator. The denominator is the cube root. So the cube root of 64 is -4. -4 squared is 16. The fourth root of 81 is 3. 3 cubed, 27. The seventh root of 128, or -128, the only thing that could be is -2. -2 cubed is -8. And the fourth root of 625, it ends in 5. The fourth root of 625 is 5. 5 to the first is still just 5. But again, we can use our calculators to check these. We'll get into calculator mode, and we'll do parentheses, -64, parentheses, raised, control division to the 2/3 power. And that will tell us 16. We'll do parentheses 81, parentheses raised to the control division, 3/4, 27. And I'm not going to go through the rest. It's too time consuming. Those are the answers. All right, what is the value of x? Okay, solving these. Okay, these aren't bad. Don't forget, with square root functions, you must check your answers. So we're going to bring the 7 over. So I get the square root of x minus 5 equals 5. I square both sides. I get x minus 5 equals 25, or x equals 30. Let me check my answer. It should be a very simple check. Square root of 30 minus 5 plus 7, does that equal 12? This is the square root of 25, which we all know is just 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. Checks. Next page. These should go rather quickly, hopefully. All right. First things first, we're going to bring the 4 over. So I'm going to get 2 square roots of x plus 13 equals 6 by subtracting the 4. Not going to show all the steps, kids. You got to kind of follow along with here. I'm going to try to show as many as possible. I'm going to divide by 2. I get the square root of x plus 3 equals 3. I divided both sides by 2. I'm going to square both sides. I get x plus 3 equals 9, or x equals 6. I know I did something wrong there, because I'm going to put 6 in here. 6 plus 13 is not 9. So it's not x plus 3, it's x plus 13. X plus 13. Bring the 13 over. If I subtract 13 from both sides, I do not get 6. I meant to get an eraser. See, I'm going to start making mistakes. I keep catching them, but at some point I'm not catching. You're going to have to find it. Subtract 13, I get -4. So x equals -4 is my answer. Let me come over here and hopefully this checks. 2 square roots of -4 plus 9 plus 4. Does that equal 10? Well, this is 2 times the square root of, this is 13. I was going to the next step, because -4 plus 13 is 9. I was going to the next step, plus 4. This is just 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. All right, I'll try to slow down and not make dumb mistakes this time. Moving this 8 over, I get -3 square roots of 2x minus 7 equals, -15. Divide both sides by -3. Divide both sides by -3, and I get 2x minus 7 equals +5, because you divided by -3 here. Square both sides, I get 2x minus 7 equals 25. Add the 7 to both sides, and I get 2x equals 32, or x equals 16. Let's check our answer. -3. 2 times 16 is 32, minus 7, minus 8. Does that equal -23? Well, this is 25 and the square root of 25 is 5. So I get negative 15 minus 8. Does that equal negative 23? Yes. We're going to square both sides here. Don't be stupid and put x squared plus 16. It's not that. We're going to square both sides. I get 14x plus 43 equals. Now squaring this means I'm going to write it twice and double distribute. Double distribute. Don't forget. So it is x squared plus 8x plus 8x plus 16. Woo! Anybody else tired? I'm a little tired. It's 9:30 now. We've been going for a long time. You're going to subtract 14x. You're going to subtract 43. Subtract 14x and subtract 43. So I get 0 is equal to x squared. That's 6x minus 14x. That's negative. That's 16x minus 14x is positive 2x. 16 minus 43. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to lie. 16 minus 43. It's getting late. I'm not going to realize that's negative 27. I know I've made a mistake somewhere. By the way, this is what I'm going to post. Notice I've already done this twice, kids. I don't know why I'm just not doing this. Alright, I found my mistake. Sorry, it's getting tiring. My mistake was I said I wasn't going to make one. This is 4x and this is 4x. That makes 8x, not two 8x's. So this becomes really negative 6x. I knew it wasn't going to work because it didn't factor, and I know all of these factored because I made them factor. So it's x minus 9, x plus 3. So my two answers are 9 and negative 3. I have to check these. I have to check these, especially when you get two answers. So the square root of 14 times 9 plus 43, does that equal 9 plus 4, which is 13? And if you multiply this all out, you get the square root of 169, and yes, that equals 13. Now I'm going to check negative 3. So negative 14 times positive 14 times negative 3 plus 43, that equals 1. So this becomes the square root of 1, which is just 1. And on the other side, I get negative 3 plus 4, and that's 1, so that checks out as well. Apologize, kids. I'm going to try not to make a mistake on this one. Ow. Oh, my foot hurts. All right, we're going to square both sides. The left side, I get 4x plus 33. The right side, I'm going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9. I am not going through the double distributing of that. I'll probably make another dumb mistake. We get 0 here equals x squared minus 10x. And then 9 minus 33 is negative 24. Factoring here is not too bad. It's x minus 12, x plus 2. So my two answers are x equals 12 and x equals negative 2. Coming over here to check, I put in a 12. 4 times 12 plus 33. Does that equal 12 minus 3, which is just 9? 4 times 12 is 48. 48 plus 33 is 81. Square root of 81 is equal to 9. To check the other one, I'll give myself a little more room. The square root of 4 times negative 2 plus 33. That's 25, so that's the square root of 25. And does that equal negative 2 minus 3? Well, this is negative 5, and this is positive 5. So no, we have to eliminate that as an answer. All right, I hope this is... Oh, yeah, that's the last one of these. So I'm going to get 4 minus 8x equals, and when I double distribute that side, I get 4x squared. Remember, we're going to double distribute this. Got to square both sides. 4x squared, it's going to be minus 4x plus 1. Bring everything over, I get 0 equals 4x squared plus 4x minus 3. I hope this factoring works. I'm going to guess 2x and 2x plus 3 and minus 1. They multiply to negative 3. They add up to positive 6. So my two answers are x equals 1/2 and x equals negative 3 over 2. Let me check this in a different color so I don't get complicated here. It's 4 minus 8 times 1/2. Does that equal 2 times 1/2 minus 1? Well, 2 times 1/2 minus 1, that's 1 minus 1, which is 0. And this becomes the square root of 4 minus half of 8 is 0, so that's 0, so 0 equals 0. Ka-ching, that works. Now we're going to try negative 3/2. So we're going to do the square root of 4 minus 8 times negative 3 over 2. Does that equal 2 times negative 3 over 2 minus 1? Well, this side ends up being negative 4, and you can't take the square root of anything to be negative 4. So this one does not work. All right, so on this one, we're going to bring the 5 over, so I get 2x plus 3 to the 2/3 power equals 9. Now, in order to get rid of the 2/3 power, don't forget we're going to raise that to the 3/2. Now, you can either do that on your calculator or do that in your brain. It's the square root of 3, square root of 9, which is 3. 3 cubed is 27. So this whole thing becomes 2x plus 3 equals 27. Subtract 3, I get 2x equals 24, or x equals 12. And to check it, just type it back in on your calculator and check it. Running out of time in my life to do that. So 5x plus 43. Please check it on the test just to make sure you didn't make a dumb mistake. Let me show you how long it takes to check. We're going to take 12. We'll control var it into x. So we stored it into x. I'm running out of space here. So it's 2x plus 3 to the 2/3 power. So parenthesis 2x plus 3. I'm only doing this one. Raised to the control division 2/3 power minus 5. And it equals 4. We said it would equal 4. It works out perfectly. All right. So this is to the 3/5 power equals 27. I'm going to raise this to the 5/3 power. And what that says is take the cube root of 27. The cube root of 27 is 3. 3 to the 5th power is 243. Now you might need your calculator for that. Subtract 43, I get 5x equals 200. or x equals 40. I think we're almost finished. We have some rationalizing to do. One more of these. A few radicals. All right, so 3x minus 7 raised to the 5/3 power equals 32. We're going to raise this to the reciprocal, 3/5 power. 3/5 power. So I get 3x minus 7 equals the 5th power of 32, or the 5th root of 32 is 2. 2 cubed is 8. Bring the 7 over, I get 3x equals 15, or x equals 5. Hopefully you guys are doing well on this. You're staying with me. All right. -4 times 10 x squared times x, y to the 4th times y. This is perfect squares, so we're only looking for perfect squares. The square root of this is 2i. The square root of this is x. The square root of this is y squared. And I'm left with 10xy. Next one, 2/5. -25 times 3. M to the 6th. Gotta look up at you every once in a while and make you know I'm still here. Woo! Man, getting tired. N, can't do anything with that. P cubed. Oh, sorry, kiddies. I got all crazy and forgot my last M. So M to the 6th times M times N times P squared. Take out a little black. Take out a little black. This is 5i. And when I multiply 5i times 2/5, I get 2. So that's 2i m cubed. Can't do anything with the n. P. Square roots of 3mn. All right, now we're doing perfect cubes. Oh, we're going to squeeze this in. Perfect cubes. Remember, you got to write your answer as a cube root. Our perfect cube that goes into -16 is -8 times 2. X cubed is a perfect cube. Y to the 6th times y. And I cannot do anything with z squared. So the cube root of -8 is -2. Cube root of this is x. Cube root of this is y squared. So I'm left with the cube root of 2yz squared. The cube root of 375. 125 is our perfect cube root. That's the 5. Times 3 times a squared times b to the 6th times c to the 6th. Those are both perfect cubes. The cube root of 125 is 5. The cube root of b to the 6th is b cubed. The cube root of c to the 6th is c cubed. Cube roots of 3a squared. All right. Hopefully you got dinner with those. Got good with those. So this is 3 square roots of 16 times 3. This is 4. So this is 12 square roots of 3. Minus 2. This is the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. The square root of 4 is 2. This becomes minus 4 square roots of 3. So my answer is 8 square roots of 3. Sorry I'm going quickly. Radicals shouldn't be too difficult. This is negative square root of 4 times 6. So this is -2 square roots of 6. Minus, this is 5 square root of 9 times 6. Square root of 9 is 3. Minus 15 square roots of 6. -17 square roots of 6. This is where I might make a mistake. Take a look. Don't let me make a mistake. 9 times 2. Square root of 9 is 3. 2/3 times 3 is 2. 2 radical 2. Plus 2 square root of 4 times 2. Square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. So this is plus 4 square roots of 2. So my answer is 6 square roots of 2. Again, if that's going too fast, I'm sorry. You can't really slow me down on these. All right. 3/5 square roots of 25 times 2. The square root of 25 is 5. And 3/5 times 5 is 3. So you get 3 radical 2 minus, this is 4 times 2, or 2 radical 2. The answer is just radical 2. Excuse me. Negative 3 times 100 times 5. Square root of 100 is 10. So this is negative 30 square roots of 5. This is plus 4. The square root of 20 is 4 times 5. The square root of 4 is 2. 4 times 5. The square root of 4 is 2. So I get plus 8 radical 5. They both have radical 5, so this is negative 22 radical 5. All right, we've got to rationalize the denominator, so we're going to multiply by the square root of 6 over the square root of 6. I get 2 square roots of 6 over 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times, so my final answer is the square root of 6 over 3. I'm going to rewrite this as the square root of 2 over the square root of 7. We're going to multiply by radical 7 over radical 7. So I've got radical 14 in the top over 7. This one we're going to multiply by the conjugate. Radical 7 plus 2. Radical 7 plus 2. In the numerator, I'm not distributing. It's just square root of 3. Oops. Square root of 7 plus 2 all over. Now, square root of 7 times the square root of 7 is 7. Minus negative 2 times positive 2 is 4. Well, doesn't my denominator really just become positive 3? Which cancels with this. So my final answer is square root of 7 plus 2. And I know this one's going to simplify too, because that's the way I made it. Radical 11 minus radical 6. Radical 11 minus radical 6. So I get 10 times radical 11 minus 6 all over. Radical 11 times radical 11 is 11. Negative radical 6 times positive radical 6 is minus 6. This is just a 5. Doesn't 5 go into 10 twice? So my answer is 2 times radical 11 minus radical 6. Notice my handwriting is getting terrible. Last page. Last minute of play in the period. Last minute of play in the period. We'll be done in less than 5 minutes, I hope. Maybe 10. All right, so we're going to distribute here. So we get 2i squared minus 8i. But I squared is negative 1. So this is really, here, this is really negative 2 minus 8i. Answer. Here we're just going to add and subtract. 3i minus 2i is I. Negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. Don't leave it like this. It's negative 9 plus I. Here we're going to distribute. We get negative 3i, or 3i times 3i squared. So that's 3i to the 5th minus 4i to the 4th. Now, if you remember your I circle, I to the 1 is just I. I squared is negative 1. I cubed is negative I. And I to the 4th is just 1. So I to the 5th is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really just I. So this is 3i. And this is negative 4 times I to the 4th. I to the 4th is 1, so this is just minus 4. So my answer is negative 4 plus 3i. Now the reason it's negative 4, even though I to the 4th is 1, this is negative 4 times 1. And that makes negative 4. Double distribute here. 2i squared times 6 is 2i is 6i squared. Negative 2i times negative I is negative 2i cubed minus 3 plus I. Well, this is just negative 6. I cubed is the same as, if we come back over here, negative I, so this becomes positive 2I minus 3 plus I. So my final answer is negative 9 plus 3I. And again, if you had a calculator, you can just type this in your calculator. Let's check our work. Let's make sure I'm right. If it's part 2, you got to show your work, but you can always check it. Parentheses 2 I squared minus 1 parenthesis 3 minus I. Enter. Negative 9 plus 3i. There it is. All right, we're just going to add here, but let's put the numbers first. It's 17 plus 9i. Done. All right, this is going to be positive 2i to the 7th plus 4i to the 8th. Now, if you remember, any multiple of 4 is just 1, so this is really positive 4. We're going to end up putting that up front. Let's take a look at what 7 is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's negative I. So this is really minus 2i. And again, you can use your calculator. What was this? It was... Can't really quite get that. I wonder if I can shrink this a little bit. There we go. So it's negative I raised to the 5th, parenthesis, negative 2i squared minus 4i cubed. There it is, 4 minus 2i. Got it. All right, couple left. Got to do a little rationalizing now. Ooh, what's going on here? Oh, yeah, we got 2 simple problems, or a couple simple problems, a couple hard problems, and we are out of here. And I'm not doing the bonus. All right, that's why it's bonus. All right, so here we go. We're going to multiply by the conjugate, I minus 3. I minus 3. Yeah, that's what that is. So it's 2 times... Now we got to distribute on these. Actually, these ones you got to distribute because there is going to be some simplifying. You can't leave exponents. So draw. So it's 2i minus 6 all over. This is going to be I times I, which is I squared, minus 9. Well, I squared is really negative 1. So what you end up with is negative 6 plus 2i over negative 9. So your final answer should be negative 6 plus 2i over positive 9. Just put that negative out front. That's fine. Here we are going to multiply by 1 plus I, the conjugate. So in the denominator, it's pretty easy. It's just 1 minus I squared. So the denominator is just 1. Oh, excuse me, 2. Because minus negative 1 is really positive 1, so it's 2. The numerator, we're going to do 2 times 1, which is 2. 2 times I, which is plus 2i. Negative 3 times 1 is minus 3i. And negative 3i times I is negative 3i squared. I think I was trying to give you more room here. I know I didn't give you much room here. Sorry about that. I squared. So let me put my... Let's see if I can slam my final answer in here. Sorry about this. This is really positive 3. So that with this is going to give me positive 5 minus I over 2. All right, we're going to multiply by 4 minus I. 4 minus I. So you get negative 2 times 4 minus I. I should have distributed that. All over 16 minus I squared. So the numerator, you get negative 8 plus 2I all over, this is positive 1 all over 17. All right, over here we're going to multiply by 2 minus 5. 2 minus 5. Oh, 2I minus 5. Okay, so in the let's go to the numerator. We get 6I minus 15 minus 2I squared plus 5I all over 4I squared minus 25. So my denominator is easy. This is really negative 4, so that's negative 29. And the numerator, I'm screwing something up, I know that. I know I got too many things. Should have 6I and minus 15 and then minus 2. No, I guess that's right. This is really a positive 2. So this gives me negative 13, because that's a positive 2, plus 11I. And the only thing you should do is get rid of this down here and put the negative out front. All right, 4 easy questions left. All right, I said graph the following and its conjugate on the same set of axes. So let me just put the conjugate down here in blue, just negative 5 minus 3I. I'll do the conjugate first. Negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. There is the conjugate. I'll do the other one in red, and that's negative 5 plus 3I, and the conjugate goes here. Now this is the original. This is the conjugate. All right, so we're going to do the conjugate in red here. 2 plus 2I. 2 plus 2I. There is the conjugate. Let me do the other one in the original in blue. Remember, they're just one's plus, one's minus. It's the same thing. So here I'm going to do the conjugate in 4 minus I. So it's positive 4 minus 1. There is the original, or that's the conjugate. I'll do the original in red. It's positive 4 plus I. And I'll do the draw that vector in. And my last problem of the page is negative 2 minus 4I. So it's negative 2 minus 4I. So that is the conjugate. And the original would be negative 2 plus 4I. And I need to do that in a different color. We'll do that in blue. So it's negative 2 plus 4I. And there's the original. So that's the original. There's the conjugate. Bonus. Good luck. I'm just going to warn you to be careful about this negative. Just be careful about this negative. You got a half here, so you're going to have fractions. You're going to end up using a calculator, and you got this negative, so you're going to have to be very, very careful. Okay? Good luck. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Not really, not one bit at all. I'll get this video up as soon as possible. You guys studied hard. If you guys completed this project and you did this entire packet, I'm telling you, you guys are going to kick butt on Monday, and I look forward to grading some really killer and stellar papers. If you guys did not spend a lot of time on this and all you did was watch this video, not going to be cool. And I'll take a picture of my studio. I've been down here for a couple hours. My feet are frozen and I'm starving and I need something to drink. All right, guys. Hopefully you worked hard. Hopefully you found this useful. Good luck on the test. This is me signing out.